one of the greatest discoveries, I think, of the last century was the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Qumran scrolls.
Yeah.
Because so much of that verified what we have in the Bible, the passages of Isaiah primarily, a lot of them, and other ones. So what do we have with that, with those fragments that tell us that was true?
Yeah, one of the big ones when you talk to somebody, especially somebody that's Jewish, and you start talking to them about Isaiah, where it talks about the virgin giving birth, what you will get almost immediately, and also from atheists as well, you'll get the idea that this word that the Jewish people use is what was written in the book, the word that they use, and I'm losing track of the word, but all it meant was young woman. It didn't supposedly didn't mean virgin. So that's their problem, and whatever they used in Isaiah back then, whether that was the original one or whether it got changed after that, I don't know. But probably in Isaiah's time, though, when you said young woman, you're not talking about somebody that wasn't married. A maiden. Yeah. You're not talking about somebody that's married, because that was a different word for it. But after that, and I just learned this maybe 3 or 4 years ago, the fact that the Dead Sea Scrolls and the Septuagint version was a version that was the Hebrew term translated into the Greek. And there were 70 Jewish scholars that did this translation. And when they translated it into Greek, and this is Septuagint version of that particular passage, they used the word virgin, the Greek word of virgin. So there's 70 Jewish scholars that knew exactly what Isaiah talking about a virgin birth was talking about. Because if you take the whole context of it, God says, behold, I'm going to give you a sign. The Amma, I think is the word we're trying to use, is going to have a child. Now, you can take two different things. It's a young woman, and God saying, wow, this is an amazing thing. Wait for this. A young woman's going to give birth.
Wonder if that's ever happened
Well, that's
before.
maybe 150 times a day. Which one you talking about, God? On the other hand, if he says a virgin's going to give birth, okay, now this is something that is unheard of. No virgins give birth. So that's one of the topics that I hear a lot of complaint about, especially if you're witnessing anybody that's Jewish. They try to say, well, that doesn't appear in the Masoretic text. This is getting kind of deep, but the Masoretic text is a Jewish document that a lot of the Old Testament is written from. The Masoretic text is something in 1000 AD. It's something that the Jewish people wrote at that point. Now, we have to take some blame for this, because Jewish people don't like Christians very much. In the past, they haven't liked them. They're starting to warm up to us because they think we're the only friends they got. But in the past, they weren't all that thrilled about Christians, because Christians, the Crusades, were not such a great thing for the Jewish people. And the kings and the people that ruled Europe, they did not treat the Jewish people very well, and they called themselves Christians. So the Jewish people had a reason to not like us very much. So I can understand some of their complaints and some of the things that, when they hear someone, a Christian, talking to them, they say, well, you know something, the history with you guys haven't been very good. You came to the Crusades, you killed a bunch of our people, you tried to say that we killed Christ, and we called us Christ killers and all the rest of it. The Catholic Church said that the Jewish people were done with God, God was done with them. All this stuff that you said to us. And why should we listen to you? But some of those things, when you can start talking to them about documents such as the Septuagint version of the Bible, when they complain about the fact that there's a virgin birth mentioned, which is what happened, and there's not much argument even in the scrolls of the documents of the time in Jewish history. They don't say that she didn't have a virgin birth. They're trying to say that she was cheating, but she wasn't married. They don't argue over the fact that she wasn't married. They say she wasn't married and she had a kid. Now, they say that she committed adultery, but the fact is that she wasn't married. They do back that part up.